Hello, everybody. It is your neighborhood realtor. My name is Jonah. It's your boy, it's your friend, it's your guy in real estate. And I wanted to come to you because when I break this whiteboard out, it's time for us to learn some things. Um, I bought my first house in 2021, and I, of course, used my parents as my realtors. And my first question was, okay, I'm going to buy a house. Is my first house. What is the process, right? Because I'm a very visual learner. I like to learn things and have kind of a step by step to know what the process is. So I thought I would do that for all of you who you may be a total professional real estate investor, or you may be a first time buyer and you've never bought a home and you may not know what the process looks like. So that's what I'm here to do for you today, is to dumb down the home buying process for you here so that you can have a better understanding of what it looks like. So the first place to start is with your pre-approval. And this is a great place to start. We want to start here for a couple of reasons. Number one is just to determine your buying power, to see what you're comfortable with, right? To see what you're comfortable and what you can afford as far as the sales price of the home that you're looking at. Another reason why is just to determine your loan type, right? Whether that's FHA or VA or conventional. This is important for a few different reasons. Another reason is also just so you can know what to expect to pay for your mortgage, especially with your tax and insurance, right? And as well, your down payment, your cash to close, all very, very important. Right now, with rates being what they are and doing what they're doing, we absolutely suggest every single one of our buyers to be crystal clear on your numbers, because as your realtor, we don't see all of the things that you see as the buyer, really, because it's none of our business, right? In terms of the little numbers that you're running with your lender, we don't see those as your realtor. So we encourage you to be crystal clear. I'm going to say it again on your numbers. And by the way, with your lenders, go ahead and shop a couple of them, because sometimes guys can do competitive stuff. If you're buying a new construction, sometimes they're able to throw in some lender incentives for you. In any case, this is a great place to start, is with your pre-approval. Not as fun as this next step, though. Once you're all pre-approved, you've determined your loan type, you know kind of what you're comfortable with, your buying power, what that number looks like. Next is to search and shop. So fun. This is where we, as your realtors, either myself, my mom Julie, or my dad Brett, we will schedule these showings for you based on the criteria that you set for us, right? 4 beds, 3 baths on a half acre, east facing, or a mountain view, or heated driveway, or whatever. We set these showings up. We go out, we look at these houses, and we see what you like, and we see what you hate. I mean, as a realtor, I can tell you there's all kinds of different houses out there with all kinds of fun stuff to see. And you may hate some of it, and eventually you will find something that you love, right? And that's what we hope for. So anyways, that is this step. We go out, we look at houses until we find one that you want. Now, the next step is offers and negotiations, right? Before I talk about offers and negotiations, there's an in-between step between the search and shop and the offers, and that is, are you contingent? Contingent, well, Jonah, what does it mean to be contingent? Well, if you are going to buy a house, and you currently own a house, do you need to sell the house that you own in order to qualify and purchase the house that you want to purchase? Does that make sense? I know I'm talking to a computer screen, but in order to qualify for the next house, do you have to sell your current house? Because a lot of people do. for various reasons. Some people don't. Some people will turn their current house into a rental and purchase the next one. If that's the case, you don't need to worry about this. But if this is the case, this process is going to look a little bit different. I can tell you right now, based off the market that I'm seeing, is not everybody is willing to work with a contingent buyer for one reason or another. Maybe they're moving out of state. The most attractive thing to them is the quickest close. And if you have to have your home sit on the market for a little bit of time, that's not going to work for that kind of seller. So really important for us to know this up front. We can absolutely still help you, and we can, take these steps necessary to make sure that you're successful if you are contingent. But I just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, offers and negotiations. So we find the home that you love. We structure an offer based on what you're comfortable with. We put some dates in there for closing, due diligence, finance and appraisal, which I'll get into in a little bit. And we negotiate back and forth with that other agent if there is one. And once everything is agreed upon, you go into acceptance. Start chilling the champagne, but don't pop the cork just yet. Because this is your under contract steps. And this, believe it or not, is where everything really starts. This is where a lot of our value comes in as a realtor and as a real estate team, is once you're under contract. And I know that seems crazy to say this is when the process starts, because sometimes this takes months or even years to get to this point. But just know that. So once you're under contract, yay, we're going to do a couple things to protect your earnest money, one of which is your due diligence period, one of which is your finance and appraisal period, and then, assuming everything goes to plan there, is your settlement. Yay. Well, Jonah, what's due diligence? What's finance and appraisal? These are big multi-syllabled words. What do these mean? Well, let me tell you. So once you're under contract, you put your earnest money. This is an amount that's up to you, due 4 days after acceptance in the state of Utah. And you have anywhere from 7 to 10 day period, let's say, for your due diligence. This is where you as the buyer, by either a home inspection, or if you're super savvy with homes, you go in and you inspect the house to make sure that it's in the condition that you're comfortable with. And if it's not, then what happens if it's not? What happens if the roof's bad? What happens if there's a foundation issue? What happens if there is a huge tree leaning over onto your property line that looks like it's about to fall, and it may be on the neighbor's property and maybe on your property? Believe it or not, all of this stuff happens. Well, what happens? We renegotiate. And that happens here. And if we find issues, we renegotiate, and you come to some conclusion, right? The seller's maybe going to fix some things for you. They're going to make you feel comfortable by doing X, Y, Z. Great. So let's say that all happens. That's all great. The next thing is your finance and appraisal. Well, if you're obtaining financing, a traditional loan, your lender at this point will order the appraisal. And basically what the appraisal is to make sure that your home is worth what the contract says it's worth in the bank's eyes. In other words, this is the bank's opinion of value. And this is a big deal, because not every appraisal comes in on point. Sometimes they come in low. Definitely the days of automatic appraisals, they're over. They're a thing of the past. And, sometimes they come in low and sometimes they come in high. That's great for you as a buyer. If you get a high appraisal, that makes you feel like you're buying something for a good value. If it comes in right at value, that's also good for you. What if it comes in low? You may be asking yourself. Well, again, we renegotiate again. And at any point along these lines, if you're not comfortable, you can absolutely cancel and get your earnest money back with no risk at all, other than maybe what you paid for the home inspection and what you maybe paid for the appraisal. But just know that as the buyer, you can cancel any of this at any time. So great, yay! You made it through the appraisal comes in. If it comes in low, we renegotiate. Maybe the seller will come down to meet you there. Maybe you kind of split it halfway. In any case, in this hypothetical situation, let's say it came in right at value. Hooray. Well, the next step is scheduling your settlement and really your final walkthrough just to make sure that everything is in the condition that you think it should be in, right? This happens typically 7 days is the earliest that this happens prior to settlement. And, settlement is just the date that you close, which takes you to the final step, closing / possession. Because, wait a minute, I'm at the closing table. I signed all my docs. Does that mean I get to just move right in? Kind of like when you buy a car, you just drive it away? Well, not necessarily. Once you close, you take possession once everything is signed and recorded, which typically takes 24 hours after you sign, the seller signs, everybody's good. Typically 24 hours after that is when everything records, and that's when you get to go into your beautiful new house with the big double doors and the nice giant window and the new roof. Yay. Anyways, I hope this was helpful for you. This is, again, the kind of a simple breakdown, of the buying process. And again, if you are contingent, this process is going to look a little bit different for you, but we'd be more than happy to help. And once all of this takes place, once agency is established, it's never too early to get going on the process or ask us questions. We're here for you. Again, I'm Jonah. I'm on a family real estate team with my parents. Let us service you, and if we can be a resource to you in any way, please reach out. Thank you very much, guys.